Well, last week in John chapter 4, we saw this incredible story of Jesus engaging with this woman from Samaria. Jesus comes to this well, Jacob's well, in the height of day, at the middle of the day, the hottest part of the day, and he's thirsty. And he asks the woman for a drink, and she starts this conversation with him, and the conversation goes on and ends up with him offering her a drink. But not a physical drink. This is a drink of spiritual worth, a spiritual drink that will quench her thirst for all eternity. He offers her living water. He offers her eternal life. And she accepts it, and she goes off to the village and tells everyone that she can find that she has found the Christ, the Messiah, the promised one from God. And then they come and they meet with Jesus, and you see at the end of this passage here that they spend 2 days with Jesus, these people from Samaria, and they end up believing as well. The woman sees that Jesus is the Christ, and that is John's great purpose in his gospel, that we would see that Jesus is the Christ and we would believe in his name. That's what John wants as we read this, and that is what the woman does. She sees that Jesus is the Christ and she believes him. What type of Christ is he? We see that in this passage. As we just have a brief look over it again, we see exactly what type of Christ Jesus is. And as we see who he is, we see his character. Actually, we see someone who all of us would be drawn towards. First of all, we see that he is a Christ who isn't constrained by gender or cultural barriers or norms. Remember, this woman is a woman, and Jesus comes near to her. A single man coming to a woman on her own, that would have been breaking all sorts of cultural norms. But for Jesus, the weight is even heavier. Jesus is a teacher, a Jewish teacher, a rabbi. And rabbis would never speak to women in the way that Jesus has spoken to this woman. Rabbis would never teach women. You know, in their writings, in the rabbinical writings, there were things that said things like this, that a rabbi to teach his daughter the law, to teach his daughter the scriptures, would be the same as him selling her into prostitution. I mean, that is just bonkers. Like, that is such a vile thing to say, but that is what they believed back then. The scriptures, a knowledge of God was reserved for men only. And a Jewish teacher would never stoop so low to speak to a woman about God. Jesus stoops and comes to her and shares who God is and offers everything that God has to her. Jesus breaks down those gender divides and walks straight over them and shows the dignity and value and worth that he sees in both men and women. He breaks down the religious and the political divides as well. Jesus was in Samaria. This is a place that had great hostility against the Jews. Jesus walks in and sits next to this woman, and those things don't even enter his mind. He offers her salvation. It doesn't matter that she's a Samaritan woman. In fact, all of the Jews so far that he's interacted with have opposed him. Just don't see who he is. And then a woman outside, seemingly the people of God, spends a few moments with him and sees who he is. Sees that he's the Christ and believes in his name. Jesus breaks down these cultural, political, religious divides. That is the type of Christ that he is. He isn't constrained by where you're from or what your background is or what your race is or what your gender is. Jesus shows mercy on who he shows mercy. The other thing we see is this. It doesn't matter how sinful you are. Jesus can and will and does offer you salvation. This woman is by far the most explicitly sinful person that he has met so far in his ministry. She's a serial adulterer. That doesn't hold Jesus back. He offers her salvation, knowing already how sinful she is, knowing how broken she is, knowing her past and knowing her present, and yet he offers her eternal life. Folks, Jesus is not constrained by the amount of sin in your life, either the amount of sin you have engaged in or the amount of sin you are engaging in now, or the amount of sin you will engage in, and he knows it all. That does not stop him offering us salvation. See how incredible this Christ is. He breaks down these cultural norms, these cultural divides. He's not constrained by the amount of sin in your life. And finally, we see that he delights in offering salvation. He delights in bringing the lost out of darkness into his glorious light. He delights in seeing the lost and sinners saved. At the end of the passage, the disciples come back. They've been out trying to find some food from another village because the disciples and Jesus are hungry, and they come and they have this food ready to give to Jesus. And Jesus says to them, I have food to eat that you do not know about. My food is to do the will of him who sent me and to accomplish his work. Jesus doesn't need their food because he's already full. He's satisfied. His Father has sent him to seek and save the lost, and that is what he has just done with this woman from Samaria. And his soul is satisfied. Jesus delights in seeing sinners being brought out of darkness and being brought into his eternal kingdom. Jesus delights in the lost being found. Jesus delights in those whose society, those who culture would say should be far away from God. He delights when those people are the ones that receive eternal life. Jesus has given this woman eternal life. She sees that he is the Christ, believes, and he is completely satisfied. His work is done there. And he shows the disciples that actually in front of them is a great harvest. He has them look out across Samaria and he says the harvest is plentiful. These fields are white for harvest. They're ready to be brought in, and that's what you see. This woman brings lots of people back to see the Christ, to see the man that she's met, and they spend 2 days with him and they see who he is and they believe as well. You see the type of Christ that Jesus is here. One who's full of compassion, one who's full of mercy, one whose job is to seek the lost and bring them into his kingdom. One who breaks down the cultural, religious, political, gender divides that our culture throws up. One who no amount of sin can keep him away from. We see what type of Christ that Jesus is. My hope is this morning as we see that, we would draw near to him. If we know him already, that we would love him all the more. And if you don't know him, you would come to him and be ready to receive from him the greatest gift that you can receive, living water, eternal life that will quench your thirsty soul for all eternity.